My organization, the Michigan Math and Science Leadership Network, is having a guest speaker, Christine Quince, and she's going to be talking about the cultural capital of Black elementary students. And we're going to have a discussion after her presentation about how that her research impacts our work as math and science teachers. So if you're interested, it's free. You're welcome to register. So I put the link in the chat. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Through the chair, we do have a quorum.
All right, fantastic. Well, then let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. And Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Member Winton. Member Winton.
I'm here.
Member Tinsley Smith. Member Talley. Member Talley.
I saw her.
She's on. I think maybe she's just on mute. I asked her to unmute herself. Okay. Member Starr.
Here.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
Good morning, Madam Clerk.
Good morning. Member Luckman.
Present.
Member Lanto. Member Joyner. Member Hughes. Member Garcia. Member English Barnhill. Member Douglas.
Present.
Member Daub.
Here.
Member Crawford. Member Cash. Member Carter.
Present.
Vice Chair Gator.
Present.
Chair Roberts.
Present.
You have a quorum present.
Okay, awesome. Next item, please.
Item B, approval of the September 8th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Okay, we need a motion and a second to approve the September 8th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Motion, Winton.
Supported, Member Gator.
Fantastic. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, next item, motion passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item C, Chair's remarks.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for being here today and taking time out of your schedule to be a part of our meeting. I think we're going to end up having a very just interesting discussion today around a number of items, but I would like you to mark your calendars. Chair Bell and I had a conversation earlier today on a couple of things, but we both thought it would be really nice to, like last year, hold our December meeting in person at the Guardian Building. So that meeting is December 13th at 12 p.m. We will be having that at the Guardian Building in person. And of course, there will be notification that will come out about that. But I just wanted to get it on your radar screens. Maybe you can pencil it into your calendar and hopefully be there in person so we can all be together. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item D, unfinished business. There is none listed. Moving to item E1 under new business, update from Wayne County Commissioner Melissa Daub.
Okay, Commissioner Daub, do you have any updates for us as it relates to Wayne County government, and anything related to women in the Women's Commission?
Yeah, I have got one thing. So we had a discussion this week in the Committee on Ways and Means regarding the creation of a family court in Wayne County. I believe we are the only county in the state of Michigan that does not have a family court. So right now, if people need to, you know, let me back up, sorry. So family domestic issues like divorce, they're usually handled within a family court. And so a lot of times those cases involve juvenile courts as well. And sometimes, unfortunately, they involve cases of abuse and neglect. But right now, the way that our court system is set up, we have different courts in different buildings, and it's just sort of fragmented. So families are forced to go to different buildings, see different judges, and some, and you guys can imagine all sorts of problems can occur with that. So we're working on forming a family court where all of these family issues can just be seen in one building before one judge, to streamline the process, to make sure that one judge follows the case all the way through. So that was a discussion that we started this week, and it's, of course, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think it's a really good step towards solving a lot of problems that, women face in Wayne County. And I know our Chair Bell is here with us. I don't know if there's anything that you want to add.
No, you covered it great. And then that will be on our next week's full board meeting for approval and brought before the entire commission. So after that, we'll make moves to try to incorporate that into our Wayne County court system. So thank you.
That's fantastic. That's really exciting. And if, anything comes up, and if you have any ideas or suggestions on ways that the Women's Commission can be helpful or help get information out about it once it's, finalized and in motion, please let us know.
Yes. Thank you.
Great. And then would you be willing to give us just a quick little overview of your event and how it went?
Oh yeah, sure. I would love to. And thank you to member Tally. I don't know if she's still on. Oh yeah, there you are. Thank you for coming. Really appreciated it. So we had a really great event. I have a group of high school interns that I work with. They wanted to do a community event regarding surrounding some women's issues, as we tend to call them, period poverty, racial disparities, and maternal and infant mortality rates. We also had First Step join us to talk about their organization, and we collected diapers, baby wipes, other mother and baby items, and period products. We are partnering with Canton Township to get those distributed to the community out here in my district. And we are hoping to, we're establishing a sort of we're calling it a mother's closet, where we're going to continue the work here to collect all of those sorts of items and have this be like a continuing thing. So the Canton Public Safety, our police department, is going to incorporate those donations into their outreach into some of our lower income areas here. And when they go out, they're going to bring those items to women who need them.
Oh, fantastic. Does anyone have any questions for Commissioner Dodd?
Yes, Chairperson.
Sorry, Member Tally. I just need to have Clerk Spivey calling you.
Oh, okay.
Member Tally?
Yeah.
Member Tally?
Thank you. And sorry, mark me, I missed roll call. I apologize. I had to step away for a second, so please forgive me. But I just wanted to comment on Member Dobbs' Women's Symposium. It was amazing. What I thought was so amazing about it, I see that Vice Chair Gator put a link in here for mentoring. These women, these young girls at this Women's Symposium, I don't know who their mentors are. If it's you, Member Dobbs, they were totally young women speak so well, just present so well. I was so impressed. So thank you for letting me share in that experience. I was truly amazed. And we need mentors like that for these young women. We're trying to do a mentoring thing out here in Romulus as well. So I may have to call on you for some tips, and even Member Gator, because what I saw at that symposium was totally amazing. So thank you again for sharing. If you're mentoring them girls and who else, y'all are doing an amazing job. Them girls were awesome. So I just need to say that. And then the other thing I do need from you, Member Daub, at the end, they did an exhibition at the end. I need the information for them young girls who did that exhibition. Can you get me that information?
Yeah. If you can, I'll put my email and phone number in the chat if you don't have it. And then
if you could, please, I need that information because they did an awesome job. The whole program was amazing.
Yeah.
The young girl at the end who did the exhibition.
The self-defense.
Yes. It was amazing, great information. And I really want to check into it for just some people around in our area as well, in our city. So thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions or comments for Commissioner Dobb?
I wanted to make a suggestion. Can you hear me okay?
Just for a moment, please. If that is Member Luckman, we need you to be able to raise your hand or put some sort of message in, but I'll have Clerk Spivey call on you.
Member Luckman?
It's great to hear about all the good work you're doing, Member Dobb and members. I just wanted to make a suggestion. The Mother's Closet that you were referring to, if you wanted to get any ideas, there is something similar that a local organization in Metro Detroit, so the Dearborn area, and I think on the border of Detroit, created called KBK. So if you're interested, just reach out to me after the meeting and I can connect you with the executive director, and you can take a look at the way they did it. So it's like all free supplies for mothers or single women going through difficult times. But the way they set it up was very, very welcoming, and you can set an appointment to go in there and get whatever needs as far as clothes go, as far as household items, within the privacy and comfort of an appointment rather than just open time. So I can give you more information. I'll send a link in the chat for their info in case they have a website, and if you need to get connected with their organizers, just connect with me after the meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I would love to learn about that.
Yeah, Member Luckman, it was a little bit difficult hearing you. There was a little challenge, I think, in your sound connection, but I think we got enough of what you were saying, and then you were going to put some information in the chat so we can see it that way too. And of course, anyone and everyone can follow up with Member Luckman. Any other questions or comments on this topic? Okay, next item.
Item E2, Tigers event. Through the chair, Member English Barnhill is not present today.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will kick this off. So Member English Barnhill organized a really wonderful opportunity for us. We didn't have a lot of notice, which I know is hard sometimes because we're all really busy, but sometimes for me, last minute sometimes works out really well. But she organized an event at the Tigers game, and we had a lovely turnout. Members Cash were there, Dr. Randall was there, Member Douglas was there, Member Starr was there, Member Talley, myself, and Member English Barnhill. And we were very fortunate to have a suite where we could sit and gather. And I just think it was a really nice time for us to come together and again, get to know each other a little bit better and share, about our lives and, some of our goals. And it was just really lovely. And just real quickly, if anyone who was at that event wanted to share anything, please feel free to do so.
Member Talley.
Thank you. Of course, I'm going to chime in. It was an amazing event. It was good, as I've even said, even about the retreat, just coming together is a great thing to do. It just brings the face-to-face just does so much, and it gets you more engaged. So it was a great event. I want to thank Member Ryan for putting it together. The food was good. The game was good. I can't remember if they won or lost, but the suite was good. Everything was good. And I just want to thank her for pulling that together for an amazing event for our Women's Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Talley.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
I just want to say it was really great. I had a ball, and just hope that, I think we've already been promised another event, haven't we, Madam Chair?
I think so, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We've been promised another event. You can let them know that. I'll let you tell them, but it was a lot of fun. That's all I can tell you. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, moving on to the next item.
Item E3, overview of Congressional Black Caucus Convention. Member Douglas.
Member Douglas, would you like to share with us a little bit about your experience attending the Congressional Black Caucus Convention?
Sure. Thank you, Chair Roberts. Through the chair, so I had the opportunity to go to the Congressional Black Caucus September 28th, and I accompanied Chair Bell. The experience was great. Had a good time, a lot to do. I attended a couple of workshops that I felt were pertinent to just bring to the Women's Commission. I attended the Congressional Black Caucus. It was the 14th annual Black Women's Roundtable Forum. It was leveraging the power of Black women's leadership in the fight for our rights, freedom, safety, justice, and democracy. And it was moderated by April Ryan, who is a White House correspondent. And so she was fantastic. It was so many phenomenal women on that roundtable. It was at least 30 women talking about various topics, from freedom, rights to reproductive rights. It was just amazing. The roundtable was based on the Black Women's Roundtable in Essence Magazine, Power of the Sister Vote poll. They did a poll in the Essence Magazine, and this is the 7th year of their partnership for the poll, which they polled 601 African-American women voters from February 8th through March 6th. One of the prevailing themes of that poll was economic anxiety. 49% of the respondents felt they were falling behind economically. Half of the respondents say economic conditions are worsening. Additionally, the second most prevailing topic was racism. 33% of the women polled agreed that the 2022 midterm should be focused mainly on combating discrimination and systemic racism. But again, it was so many amazing women. You can find that. I'll send the link later on so that you can watch the video. They do have it on the Congressional Black Caucus's website. So I can send that over later for distribution. Also, I attended the Supporting Sustainable Communities Through Affordable Housing and Home Ownership. It was hosted by Bank of America. There is a program to get more low-income individuals, especially in the Detroit area, to own homes. I don't have that information readily available, but I did contact one of the representatives there, and so they're going to be forwarding some information, and I can also send that to the chair for distribution. The second most important one that I felt was the health disparities and inequities in Black breast cancer. African-American women are 41% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. African-American women have 31% higher breast density, but are less likely to be offered breast density tests. I know that when my experience was that I went and they kept finding stuff. Well, then finally the doctor was like, well, your breasts are very dense, but they never offered me a breast density test until I started reading and researching myself and then asked for it. The first test I had was an ultrasound, and then they offered the breast density test. So we have to really, really be diligent, especially as African-American women. We have a threat called the triple negative breast cancer. And it accounts for 10 to 15% of all breast cancers. The term triple negative breast cancer refers to the fact that the cancer cells don't have estrogen or progesterone receptors. And it also makes too much protein called HER2, the cells that test negative on all three tests. These cancers tend to be more common in women younger than 40 who are Black or have a BRCA1 mutation. This differs in other types of cancer because it's more invasive. And it tends to grow and spread faster and has few treatment options. The reason it has fewer treatment options is because when women go in for breast cancer and they're diagnosed with breast cancer, the doctors give you the best practices for breast cancer, which is done from clinical trials. Most clinical trials have been done on white women. Black women have not been part of the clinical trials because of our breast density and the effects that breast cancer has on African American. Now, all women suffer differently. They deal with it differently, and they are treated differently because some people don't do well with active treatment and chemo. But for Black women, this particular breast cancer is more prevalent, but it has not been involved in clinical trials. So therefore, if you or a family member is diagnosed with breast cancer, it is important that you ask to be part of a clinical trial, especially if you have this triple negative. That is the only way that we will be able to help combat this particular breast cancer. The trials are very limited. We have to do our research. Again, I have some links that I will be sending over to send to membership for clinical trial testing and other information. But that's basically what I have. And it was a very thorough workshop and it lasted about an hour and a half or so. But all in all, the information from the Congressional Black Caucus was so amazing. They had so many different workshops. You just couldn't get to all of them, but it was great. So that's what I have to share so far. And I hope that I brought some information forward that could be useful to some of you. And I thank you for that opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing all of that, Member Douglas. And any and all information that you would like to share with the membership, please just feel free to go ahead and do that directly and get that out to our members. And I would also just put out there for us to think about, are there any ideas or ways that as the Women's Commission in Wayne County, that we can get some information out to Wayne County women, African-American women on this? And it would be really interesting to see if there's any potential resource through the health department, through any breast cancer screenings that they may perform, if they are doing what should be done, or could a recommendation be made to take some of these additional steps. I don't know, because I don't know exactly what they do, but that might be something that we want to look into.
Member Douglas.
Thank you again. So when I came back, that's what I started to do, doing some research, especially on this triple negative, so that we can get some more information out. And I thought it was very particular that I brought this forward, especially since this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And so I just needed to, we all need to have additional information, especially around breast cancer and those diseases that affect women in particular, and to understand that all women are not the same, and especially with African-American women, there is a difference in the health issues that we deal with sometimes. So although breast cancer is breast cancer, but there's different levels. So we just have to be aware of all of that. So I just implore everyone. And the other thing that came out of that was the fact that it is not too early to ever teach our young ladies how to breast exam, self-exam, and make them aware, because systemically for a lot of women, it's you just don't touch yourself, you just don't do that kind of stuff. And we need to make our young ladies feel more comfortable about their bodies and to help them understand, you know, what it means to stay healthy and the proper procedures to do self-exams. So again, I thank you for that opportunity. I thank Chair Bell for allowing me to accompany her during that time, and it was just so enjoyable. So thank you.
Clerk Spivey, I think I see a number of hands up, but I'd like to give preference to, I see Chair Bell is raising her hand virtually.
Yes, good afternoon again, ladies. I just want to kind of reiterate what Member Douglas spoke about with the Congressional Black Caucus. It was an awesome experience. They really emphasized that the Black Women's Roundtable voting and the importance of voting. In the room, of course, we were preaching to the choir, but the charge was to go out and go to your own community and talk to those people who aren't necessarily engaged and try to get them engaged, be it your family members, neighbors, to make sure that they participate in voting, not just during the presidential year, of course, but during the midterms, which are just as important, if not more important. So it was a dynamic roundtable. Thank you, Member Douglas, for attending. And as you were speaking about the breast cancer, I had a brainstorm just now. We can flush it out later. That, you know, it may be a good idea somehow to have a Women's Commission newsletter that goes out that can talk about a particular topic, and this could be a topic that we could get out to ladies throughout Wayne County via an e-newsletter, electronic newsletter. So just think about that as we talk about getting information out to the ladies in Wayne County so that they're more informed, especially about items that they may not be informed about. And with this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, this would be a great opportunity to start something like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anyone else? Clerk Spivey, does anyone else have their hand up?
I saw Dr. Regina Randall's hand up. She put it back down, so.
Please forgive me, Madam Chair. I thought I was doing the clapping hands for Commissioner Douglas. Oh, forgive me.
Okay, no worries. Okay, moving on. But Madam Clerk, I am going to add an item real quickly because I forgot to put it on the agenda, and it's going to be very, very brief. But the Women's Official Network Foundation invited myself and Vice Chair Gator to a breakfast networking event to talk about women's commissions and the roles of women's commissions and helping bring a voice to women, you know, in the public government space. And so Marsha Gershenson, who is the vice chair of the Oakland County Commission, joined us as well. They have a history of, they had a women's commission. It's not functioning right now, but they're looking to rebuild it. And it really was just a wonderful event. There was probably about 30 women there, but I am gonna ask if Vice Chair Gator would like to share a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Chair, to this body. We were quite honored, and I hopefully, Sarah, I can speak for you too. We were quite honored to be there. We highlighted the work that we have been doing as a Wayne County Women's Commission and the work that we did last year, the work that we're putting together now. And the group was really enthused. They were really motivated and quite interested to hear more about us. And so I just felt really honored to be there to speak up about the work that we're doing in Wayne County for women and any other updates coming from WAN, because I am a member of that foundation. I'd be happy to share that.
Okay, you're breaking up a little bit. You just froze up on us. Are you there? Okay. Well, looks like there's a little bit of an internet connection issue. So I'm sorry. Oh, there you are. Was that the conclusion of what you wanted to share?
I didn't. Yeah, you last heard me, but I don't want to take up too much.
I'm sorry, Vice Chair Gator, we cannot understand. I think there's a connectivity issue. Okay, okay. All right. Well, moving on to the next item, Madam Clerk.
Item E4, updates from committees, bylaws committee.
Okay, we are going to move this to our November meeting. So next item.
4B, new committees, recommended appointments.
Okay, so we, as the Women's Commission, have had some conversations around focusing our work and the potential of creating some new committees. I've had discussions with many of the members of this commission one-on-one through television calls, through phone calls. And then I think in the last two meetings, we've, talked about this in terms of this idea of how we get a better sense of, what Wayne County is doing in terms of supporting women in Wayne County, and this idea of surveying the county and finding out what all the programs and services are, then maybe potentially putting together some sort of resource document. So in one place, it's like all the programs and services that support women, and, potentially getting that out to the women in Wayne County or to other allied organizations. We also talked about, the need for communications committee. So, Chair Bell was just talking about this idea of a newsletter, like how would we do that? How we get press releases out, how we share the work that we're doing, events that we want to do. And my sense of the conversations and the discussions in the last two meetings was there was a lot of interest in this. So I reached out to, over the past 2 months, like every member of the commission, I have called them. And I think we need to have a discussion about, the work that we want to do in moving forward. And the reason that I say that is I think we all have a very genuine interest in working on things, but we also have very busy schedules and we have limited capacity. So for example, for the survey committee, there are 3 members who are willing to serve on that committee. I'm willing to serve on it too, so that would be 4, but no volunteers for chair or vice chair. For the communications committee, there are 4 members, and 1 is already on strategic planning and felt like they would be pressed very thin, but were willing to be helpful if we needed it. But again, no one willing to be chair or vice chair. So that becomes the challenge, because if we're going to have committees, really the role of the chair is to organize a Zoom meeting and create an agenda, and the vice chair is to take the minutes. And we have to, as a public body, have minutes of some form that are submitted and that are on file. So I really, I kind of want to open this up for some discussion. I want to share a couple things real quickly. But if we have agreement around issues or things that we want to work on, but we don't have time to do it, then maybe we need to reframe this. I mean, maybe we need to look at it a different way. Is part of my conversation with Chair Bell today was, about this. And I do want everybody to know it's not, there's no judgment around this. It's just the reality of it, right? Like, we're busy. And she did offer having, and I can let Chair Bell speak to this if she's still on, but having a staff person or 2 on her staff, as opposed to us working to survey the committee, having the staff put all of the information together, then present it to us, and then we can figure out as a commission how we want to share that information. Or maybe we don't have separate committees, we just continue to meet as the committee as a whole and work on issues. Dr. Randall has talked, she and I have had a couple conversations now, and I know that she has talked with some other members on this idea of doing a resource fair. Which I think is a great idea. And I think other members are supportive of that idea. And maybe we just focus on the resource fair for the rest of the year and, try to figure out how we can compile all of the resources and programs for women, and then figure out how we get that out and perhaps connect that into this idea of a resource fair, but we just work as a committee of a whole. So, I would like to open this up for discussion for what members think so that we can come together and just figure out, given our capacity and given that this is a volunteer commission, we may have ideals that are up here, but our reality is down here. And so how do we just come together? Because I know and I believe we all are committed to being advocates and solution providers for women. And we do it in many spaces outside of the Women's Commission in our roles in the various organizations and community, the ways we interact with community. But as the Women's Commission, how do we figure this out? How do we work together? And so with that, I'd like to open it up for discussion. Yes.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity. There is enough work for everyone to do on the resource fair, and I am not opposed. It's not a bad idea to just, have a one, your suggestion is I think is valuable to just work on, have a committee of the whole and, maybe just work on a couple of projects. But I just want to thank you for the opportunity and that there is work for everyone for the resource fair. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you for that. Other members, what are your thoughts? What are your...
Member Cash.
Thank you. Through the chair, I like the idea of the resource fair because what it sounds like too with what Chair Bell has also just talked about was putting together where all the resources are there. So it seemed like those two things would correspond. If we have a newsletter with resources, and then you have the resource fair. So what's in the newsletter, maybe we can reach out to those individual departments to be a part of what a resource fair would be. So outside of just having it in the newsletter, now when you do your resource fair, you can touch it. You can touch those different departments. You can talk to individuals that are experts that is in the various departments and in the newsletter. And also too, as a whole, it probably would be a lot easier as a whole commission working because as you had just said, Chair Roberts, everybody is really busy. A lot of things that I'll say this personally, I would like to do right now, can't do it. I'm up at 5 o'clock and not getting home until 10 o'clock at night right now, a busy time. So I really can't pour into like just being on a certain committee, but I can have a voice of maybe something bigger with all of us being a part of it. So just coming together with what our Chair Bell has said and what Dr. Randall has said, maybe that will be a good thing. And many women from all across Wayne County can come out, touch, feel, and talk to experts from various areas with a resource fair. Okay, oh, and one other thing too, can you mark me present? I know I came in a little bit late, but I was on another Zoom for work. So, but I'm here.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Member Talley.
Yeah, I just want clarity because I know we talked about the survey committee, but I'm kind of fuzzy on the resource fair. And just my understanding is that we were doing a survey committee to get a survey of the resources within Wayne County to get a handle of that. So what is the resource fair? What would those resources be? I just want to get clear on what these two different things are. The survey committee, I'm clear on, but the resource fair, I think I may have got lost in the information for that.
Yeah, I'll say one thing, and then I'm sure Dr. Randall would like to speak to this because it was really her idea and her vision. Okay. I would say she has brought this forward. I don't know what the full vision is. I just know, like, conceptually, this idea of bringing resources to women, right, to support them and help uplift them. So what the details of all of that are, I think that's in part why Dr. Randall wants to create a committee. And maybe, and then I will let you speak, of course, Dr. Randall, maybe it's a committee of the whole project, but we have a steering committee. that can just kind of
Yes.
help guide the work and bring it back, and then we can discuss as a whole committee, because I think that would be more efficient than everything just only at a monthly meeting. But with that, Clerk Spivey, would you mind calling on Dr. Randall?
Dr. Regina Randall?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, Commissioner Talley, for your question. I thought that Commissioner Cash really explained it well. The resources basically are the same. Okay, housing resources, baby resources, clothing for jobs resources, employment resources. So the difference between the resource fair would be an in-person activity where you can, like Commissioner Cass said, you can touch the resources, whereas the newsletter will be highlighting contact information and resources in writing. But the actual idea, if I'm not mistaken, is not that much different. Thank you.
Yeah, and the committee really was, the intent of the committee in my mind was, we don't know what programs and services that the county offers. So it was just an exercise in us wrapping our hands around that and getting a better understanding, so that as the Women's Commission, we could then direct our work. And especially, let's say it's around, I used this example earlier with Chair Bell, and I see her hand is raised, like around breast cancer screenings. You know, is it fully utilized? If it's underutilized, well, then maybe that's a specific effort that we would make at a resource fair, at a newsletter, at an op-ed, or getting information out to other allied organizations to say, like, hey, there is space and opportunity for more women to get free breast cancer screenings through the county. And I'm totally making that up because I have no idea what their utilization rate is, but it's just an example of, like, then we know. And then it'll also tell us if they're not doing something that maybe we think they could be doing, and then we can make that recommendation. Chair Bell. Chair Bell, did you have your hand raised?
I'm sorry, I do. Hold on. Can you hear me? Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you. Yes, just to further clarify, the survey would identify within Wayne County what programs that we have, and I could certainly utilize my office staff to do that work and then bring it to this body. And that's what do we have in Health and Human Services? What do we have for women in economic development, for small business outreach? What do we have for women? And then bring that to your organization, to your body. That's the survey piece. Number two, the resource fair would be, as Dr. Randall said, it would be inviting some of those resources that the county offers, as well as other organizations within Wayne County that ladies could take advantage of. So the resource fair, just like a job fair or a college fair, you have different tables and they will have different resources that people can come and get that information from. So the survey is for what the county offers. The resource fair is for all organizations, including the county, that we can bring out to the public.
Okay, so can I speak?
Member Talley?
Yeah, so I'm clear on that. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, in conjunction with when we do the survey and then when we do the research. So are we going to do the survey piece with the survey of the county, and then that's going to tie into the resource fair? I'm just trying, my mind think, you know what I mean? I get what we're trying to do, but I need to be clear on, do we do the survey first and then that rolls into the resource fair, or are we just going to do a resource fair before we do anything as find out what the resources we have with Wayne County? I'm just trying to get clear on that.
It's separate. They're two separate items. The survey is, what does Wayne County do for women? Period. Number two, resource fair, bringing together organizations within Wayne County for women, including the county.
Wayne County.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're two separate things, and they can go in concert, but they're two separate items.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and my understanding is, and this could change, but I think, and I don't mean to speak for you, Dr. Randall, and of course you can speak again, but what she shared with me the other day was, like, our goal might be April for the resource fair.
Okay.
So that will give us plenty of time to figure out what's going on with the county, and other potential organizations within Wayne County that could be included in this type of fair.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity, because yes, and I just want to thank everybody, including Chair Bell, for the explanation. So forgive me for not explaining that the survey is really specific to Wayne County services.
Okay.
So that was my mistake. I'm so sorry. But as she said, some of those services will be available at the Wayne County Women's Resource Fair.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for all the questions, and thank you for the opportunity, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Vice Chair Gator.
Yes, thank you. I know my reception is bad. Is this clear now?
It's better.
It's okay.
No, it's not. I'm sorry.
Chair Roberts.
Why don't you try turning your camera off and just speaking? Sometimes that helps.
Yeah, is it helping now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for your patience to this body. Through Chair Roberts, and just point of clarification as well. Now that we clearly understand that the survey committee and the resource fair are two separate things, which I just want to say for the record, thank you, Dr. Randall. Please tag me on where you see fit. I would love to be a part of that. Going back to the committees, it is of my personal opinion that we still need those committees to be up and running. I know we are kind of all professional women and that we are very full, our plates are very full. However, and we got a vote there, I believe, to start these committees. And I have a special interest in the communications committee for multiple reasons. I think it's so important that we further legitimize the work that we have been doing and that we plan to do, and that we create the foundation for the commissioners that will come after us. And so that's just my 2 cents on that. I still would like for us to kind of think about filling these positions for the committees.
Yeah, one thing on it, and thank you so much, Vice Chair Gator. I think at this point, the survey committee is not going to happen because Chair Bell is kindly dedicating staff resources to having that survey work done through staff, and they're going to bring it back to us. But in its place, putting together some form of resource fair steering committee that I'm hoping Dr. Randall will chair and lead. Okay, I see agreement there. But that does bring us to a conversation around the idea of the communications committee. I think it is important for us as a body to figure out some of the ways that we work together to communicate our work to the public. And then also the actual work of communicating our work to the public. Do we need a logo? Do we want a Facebook page? Would we like to do some editorial opinion pieces on issues, or to share about the resource fair? Putting together a newsletter. I mean, that all takes work, right? And do we have some members who we're going to need some volunteers? I think I want to approach this from a volunteer basis. I mean, that's why I tried calling everybody. I did not want to appoint anybody to a committee who didn't say, yes, I want to do that. I think the best thing is to have women on the committees and do the work that they feel connected to or believe they have the time to do. So we're going to need volunteers for the steering committee on the resource fair. And if we do want to have a communications committee, we are going to need volunteers for that. And I have 1, 2, 3 for sure that wanted to be a part of that. But again, no capacity for chair or vice chair. So how do we do this? And I'm going to turn it back over to Vice Chair Gator because I see she's raised her hand.
Thank you, Chair Roberts. To your point, I personally would like to be appointed to the Communications Committee and to the Steering Committee for the Resource Fair. Dr. Randall, I'm hoping I can serve on that. And I have a suggestion for that committee, given that we're having a hard time appointing a chairperson. Maybe for those who are on that committee, we can do our due diligence and we can rotate those roles as we see fit, as long as we make an agreement and dedication and commitment to get the job done. Thank you.
Yes. And, you know, on the communications committee, per our bylaws, as chair of the Women's Commission, I cannot chair a committee, but if we wanted a communications work group and this body is like, Sarah, if you're willing to set up a Zoom meeting and create an agenda, you know, I will do that. You know, it's not that I want to be chair of multiple things, but it's like, if we just literally need somebody to like call a meeting and to help provide some structure, you know, I am willing to do that. So, I mean, we can make it anything we want. I see, Dr. Randall, I do see your hand up. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? And if not, Madam Clerk, if you want to turn it back over to Dr. Randall.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
Madam Clerk, I just was gonna suggest that sometimes when organizations can't find one person, then they do two co-chairs. That's always an option. Also, having the vice chair of any committee to do minutes may also not be as effective as it sounds. I would like for us to consider just opening that task up to other members on the committee. Just an idea. Thank you. Okay.
What I would like to do is, in the essence of time and getting things going, we do not have 100% participation today, but we do have a quorum here today. And if the members are okay with this, I would like to open up the floor for volunteers for the steering committee for the resource fair. And then make a recommendation to have Dr. Randall chair that. So that the work can get started.
Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I spoke out of proper. I'll wait for the clerk to call me.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
Okay, so I am gonna start off very small. So I'm only gonna meet with like maybe a couple of people to kind of get things organized. And I have those people already in mind. And if you would allow me to work at this process, we will organize it, set up the committees, and then we can bring the other members on. But we want to have some type of organization before presenting it. So I have the individuals that I want to work with, like 2 or 3 people right now, and then we will spread out once we get organized. If you can allow me to do that, Madam Chair.
Okay, so you would like to work in sort of a non-structured space, figure some things out, and then bring it forward.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And by that time, you're right. I will, you all can reach out to me, but we need to give you all committees. And that's what I need these 2 people to help me organize. So just if you could bear with me in this process, I would appreciate it so much.
And Dr. Randall, this is Alicia. If you can, feel free to call on me in your initial stages to help move this forward as well.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, I will say that the 2 individuals I want to work with is Vice Chair Gator and Cynthia Douglas. Those will be my 2 initial people to help me get organized.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I see Felicia has her hand raised.
Council Johnson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a point of clarification. I know we're having a lot of discussion regarding which committee should be set up, if any. And I know there was discussion at the last meeting, and I apologize because I was trying to do 2 meetings at once last time, but I don't think you voted to create any committees. And I know we're talking about taking volunteers to staff to sort of staff those committees, but I don't believe there's been a vote to actually establish them. So I just want to put that out there and remind everyone that probably need to establish the committee before we take volunteers to serve on the various committees. Thank you.
Yes, no, I appreciate that clarification. And initially the intent was that's what we would do today with the survey committee and the communications committee, but it's been an evolving conversation. And so with the Resource Fair Committee, and I will let Dr. Randall and whomever, the member she chooses to work with to come up with the name of the committee, and they can present that to us. But yes, we will need to vote on that as a committee. So if you want to bring that to us, in November, that would be really fantastic. And we can formally get that going. And in terms of a communications committee, what I was thinking is if we could get some volunteers for that, then I could write down their names, and then I could make the recommendation to form the committee with those members, and then we could vote on it. But we can also wait on that till the next month, because the majority of members that volunteer for the communications committee are not on this call today. They're not on this meeting today. I've talked with them, but maybe we need to work through that some more as well. Chair Bell.
Yes, to Councilor Johnson, is that necessary to vote on committees? I mean, is that?
Yes, per their
bureaucratic.
bylaws it is, and that's the way they've done the former committees. Their bylaws says that those committees are actually created by the body itself. Now, if they want to change the bylaws to say that the chair can unilaterally create committees, they're free to do so, but currently the bylaws requires a vote because they're formed by the body as a whole and not the chairperson.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and Chair Bell, if you have any thoughts or recommendations on that, Member Douglas is chair of the bylaws committee, and we have been working on a couple other changes to the bylaws, and they're going to come forward in November. So there's a conversation that you want to have with any recommendations, of course, please do so.
Will do. That sounds pretty strict for the body, but
it does. It does.
I didn't know it was that structured. Okay, I didn't know we were walking like that, but okay, that's fine.
I know it's maybe a little too formal.
Yeah, but okay, this is up to the body. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we are gonna, I think, move on from this discussion. We'll return to it in November. Just the last thing that I did want to put forward is I had this idea of like a calendars committee, and my thought really was they might meet for just 1 month. And what we would do is maybe create a Google Calendar that we would all have access to. We could put the Resource Fair on it. We could put our meetings on it. But then also things like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or the Breast Cancer Awareness Walk in Metro Detroit, or, pay equity, so that we have a calendar that we're looking to into the future to say, hey, we went to a resolution around this, or hey, maybe we should do an event around this particular month, or hey, maybe we want to do a post on Facebook. So, again, we would need volunteers for that. So I will bring that back around in November if members want to think about that. Okay, any other thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, ideas around our committee's conversation today?
I'm sorry, I was going to another subject. I'll wait till you're for new business.
Okay. Seeing none, Clerk Spivey, next item.
Item 5, committee chair, vice chair, member roles and responsibilities.
Okay, I am not going to spend as much time on this as I thought that I may when I originally put this on the agenda. But this is just a reminder that this was a document that was created collaboratively last year. I think there was like 5 of us that were involved in creating this, just to provide some guidance around committees and ensuring that when we do have a committee, if there is a meeting scheduled, that it's essentially creating a guideline that, the chair is informed, the vice chair is informed, and the clerk is informed. The clerk cannot staff us for our committees, but just so they know that it's happening, and that minutes have to be written and submitted. So I am just going to ask everyone to please, review this document again. And when we move forward in our committees, I'm just asking that members, adhere to this because we do need some structure, and it is imperative as a public body that when we meet in committees, we have to have a record of that meeting. They do not need to be super detailed minutes, but just, a synopsis of that meeting. So with that, I'm going to move on. Cheryl, did you want to add something under new business?
Yes, you mentioned for the December meeting that we were going to be in person. I think you gave the date. The date is actually December 8th. I think you said 13th, but the date is the second Thursday in December is December 8th.
Yes, thank you so much. And we will send out an email reminding members of that. But thank you so much. I don't know what I was looking at. I think I was looking at October, because today's the 13th.
Yeah. So December 8th, and I just want to really quickly reiterate, just so happy that you guys are moving forward in the work that you're doing. I look forward to continuing the good work that you're doing. The calendar event is great. There's so many things that this body can do as it relates to women. And I'm just going to throw some ideas out there. Maybe next year you can get t-shirts to walk in the breast cancer walk in October. March is Women's History Month. It'd be lovely to partnership with another organization to have a luncheon. I think that would be awesome. Working on a logo or something for apparel that you all can wear to be uniform at different events would be awesome as well. So I'm just throwing those ideas out there for things to consider as you all move forward with doing the great work that you're doing for Wayne County. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I think that's all wonderful. And I just do want to give a shout out to Member Douglas. She did reach out to me about the breast cancer awareness walk in Detroit and going together and getting t-shirts and like kind of like being branded together. But I think there just wasn't enough time to get it all together for this year. And that's another thing that got me thinking about, we need to get things on the calendar and working towards it for next year. So it was a wonderful idea. And I just want to make sure when we have ideas, we have enough time and capacity to do them in the ways that we want to do them. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the commission.
Okay, I don't believe that there are any. Is there anything from anyone? Okay, and moving on to the next item.
Item G, public comments.
Okay, are there any comments from the public? Any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none. I really want to thank everyone for your participation today and just being a part of, problem solving and moving us forward. Chair Bell, I am really so thankful that you were able to be a part of our meeting today and to contribute and help us, move in a organized way. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting and have a wonderful day. And please reach out to me anytime.
Good meeting. This was a good
Congratulations for keeping it an hour. Good job, ladies.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Okay.
We're trying.
Bye-bye.
All right.